Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So to start off, I'm going to prime my face using the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I love this stuff. I usually use maybe about 2 to 2.5 pumps depending on how dry my skin is that day. And I'm just going to apply that all over my face. This stuff is amazing. It's a primer, but it also hydrates the skin. So if you have dry skin, this will be a great product for you. Going into concealer, I'm going to go in with my Fenty Beauty concealer in the shade 360. You guys already know the drill. I like to use this to pretty much correct any of my acne scars or dark marks on my face. I like to use this before I apply my foundation. I just feel like it makes everything look so flawless, so that's why I like to do this step first. And I'm literally just going to take that and apply it everywhere that I feel like I have either discoloration or I just want it to be a little bit more brighter. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right here. And then I'm going to go in with this brush. This is a brush by Sephora. I do not know the name of it. I'm so sorry. I'll link it down below for you guys. But it's like a dense concealer brush. And I'm basically just taking that and patting in all of the product. That way it just like sits on the skin properly and it doesn't really move. As you can see, this just looks so flawless. Like if I would have put this concealer all over my face, I probably wouldn't have even needed to add foundation. But yeah, as you can see, this is why I like to do this step. I just feel like it brightens up my face. It hides all of those acne scars, especially because this has like a little bit of orange in it. So it acts as a corrector for me. So that's why I like to use it. Going in with foundation, I'm going to go in with the Too Faced Born This Way foundation in the shade Caramel. I'm obsessed with this foundation. I haven't used it in a while, so I was like, let me pick this up and play with it. But I like to take about 2 to 3 pumps and I like to apply that all over my skin, mainly in my problem areas, which is my cheeks. My cheeks break out so bad and I do not understand why. So I like to apply that all over, and then I'm going to take this Sonia Kashuk sponge. I stopped using it for a while because I didn't like it, and then I used it for this video and I fell back in love with the sponge. I don't know, maybe I washed it wrong or something the last time I used it, but I love the sponge. It was so soft, it blended everything out perfectly, and it didn't suck up too much of my product. So I'm just going to take that. I added a little bit of a second layer just because it's a medium coverage foundation. So I'm just blending all of that in, just making sure everything looks good. As you can see, my skin looks flawless. So to go in and bronze my face, I like to use the Huda Beauty Tantour bronzer in the shade medium. I've been loving this stuff since it came out. When I tell you, it really does sculpt your face. It's so amazing, and I have not been able to put it down since I started using it. So I'm just obsessed with it, really, honestly. It's just amazing. So I like to take this Sephora brush. It's like a stippling brush, and I'm basically just going to stipple that product everywhere that I want it. Especially in my hairline, because I notice a lot of the times when I do warm up my face using a contour or a cream bronzer or something like that, if I don't really get in my hairline good, it just looks like I'm wearing a mask. So that's why I like to do it like that. And then I'm going to take that Sonia Kashuk sponge and just tap everything in, basically just tapping it. You don't want to swipe it or swirl your brush or your sponge or anything. Just tap it in. That way it stays in place, but it definitely gives you the effect that you're looking for. So right here you guys can see that I added a second layer just because I wanted a little bit more definition. So I added a second layer and I loved it. Like, I don't even know how else to explain this product other than the fact that I'm literally obsessed with it. Like, it's so amazing. So I'm just using my Sonia Kashuk sponge and blending all of that in. For concealer to brighten up the face, I like to use the Becca Ultimate Coverage Concealer in the shade Caramel. It's so good. It's so bright. It's so thick and full coverage. I literally love this stuff so much. It's just like the best. Like, it is really full coverage, but when you blend it out, it doesn't feel like super thick and cakey, if that makes sense. So I've been using this product for a while. I stopped using it, then started using it again, and now I'm just like basically like stuck on it like glue. So yeah, I'm just blending all of that in using the back part of my sponge. I really like this sponge a lot, and I don't know why I stopped using it, but I like it. It's amazing. It looks good, and yeah, look at that. Look at my forehead. Like, only this concealer can make my forehead look like that. Like, I feel like it looks so flawless. Like, it has a spotlight effect right in the center of my forehead. It just looks amazing. So I'm just blending all of that in using my sponge. When I blend under the eyes, I like to use the pointy part of the sponge just because it helps me get in that little inner tear duct area. So that's why I like to blend it out like that. This sponge is really good. You guys should definitely try it. To set everything in place, I'm going to be using my Huda Beauty setting powder. I believe it's in the shade Pound Cake, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be using. And I like to pat it into my skin using my damp beauty sponge that we use to blend out the concealer and for our foundation. I love doing this step. I just feel like it soaks everything in and makes everything soak into the skin, especially because my sponge is already wet. So I just feel like that's just like an added bonus. It just, I don't know, it just works for me. So I'm just going to set all of that. Basically, I'm only using this powder to set my concealed areas because I feel like this powder can kind of be a little too bright, which will make my face look more gray if I put it on my bronzed areas or my contoured areas. So I'm only applying this powder to the parts of my face that we highlighted with concealer. To set the rest of my face, I'm going in with my Sephora Collection Micro Smooth Powder in the shade 40 or Matte Tan. I love this stuff. It is literally, I use this every day. Every time I put makeup on, I use this. There's not a day that I go without using this. It's bomb. It gives you a little bit of coverage, but it also brings back the warmth to your skin, especially after applying powder. So I like to use this just because it doesn't change the color of my cream bronzer. It keeps it the same, but it also tones down the highlighted areas so that way it's not too bright or it doesn't turn gray. So I literally just use this all over my face, and this is the only thing that I do put on my forehead as a powder. So I don't use setting powder, I just use this. To warm up the face and bronze up the face, I'm going to go in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills contour color. This is in the shade, I believe it's in the shade Caramel. No, actually it's in the shade Cappuccino. So I'm going to use that, and I'm just taking that on a fluffy R2 brush, I believe, by Morphe, and I'm basically just warming up my face. I literally use this brush all the time to warm up my face. Although it's such a messy brush, I don't get any precision, but I like it because it's more diffused. So if you're the type of person that's going for more of a diffused contour or a diffused bronzer, use a fluffy brush and then just clean it up with powder afterwards if you need to. That'll definitely give you more of that diffused look. And then I'm just going to take this and run it along my nose because y'all know I don't know how to contour my nose, so this is what I do. So here's where I was saying I like to use powder to just clean up the areas that I feel like need to be cleaned up. So I just take some powder and run it along there, and then yeah, that's basically it. So I'm gonna go off camera and do my brows and prep my eyelids, and I'll be right back. Oh, just kidding, never mind. So I'm going to apply my NARS Orgasm Blush. I'm so sorry, I forgot to do a product shot of this, but you guys know what this is. This is the NARS Orgasm Blush. I've recently discovered this, and I'm so obsessed with it. One, because it has a little bit of highlighted in it, but I also feel like it's like the perfect color for my skin tone. Like, it's so perfect. It's not too dark or anything like that. I love it. So I went off camera and did my brows and prepped my eyes. I'm using the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and this is her first palette, and I'm just taking the two of the brown shades in there, and I'm basically just, you know, kind of smoking that out, just making it look nice and just smoking it out as much as I possibly can. So yeah, I didn't really do anything fancy. You guys know I don't really do much to my eyes. I'm so fucking basic, but I wish I wasn't. I try to get into color and then it just does not work for me. So I stick to what I like and stick to what I know, but I do need to start stepping out of my comfort zone a little bit. So right here, I'm just taking that blush and I'm just using that as another eyeshadow basically. And I'm just applying that into like the inner corner of my eye. And I just think it looks so pretty. Like, it looks so pretty. It blends well with the rest of the makeup. But yeah, I really, really like it. It just came out so good. So right here, I'm just taking those two brown shades again and I'm just running those along my bottom lash line just to even everything out. You guys know I cannot not put eyeshadow on my lower lash line. That's out, like, period. Like, I have to put eyeshadow down there. To set all of that in place, I'm going to be using my Lancome Fix It Forget It Set It spray. As you can see, I love this stuff. It's basically halfway gone. So I'm just going to use that and set my face. And when I tell you guys, this is literally how long I spray my face for. It's insane. And then I'm going to take my sponge and I'm just going to tap all over my face just to set that powder, to set that spray in place, because I just feel like this just helps it soak into the skin better. For highlight, I'm going in with the Becca Cosmetics and Jaclyn Hill, I believe that is. Yes, the Jaclyn Hill one in the shade Champagne Pop. And I'm just using this to highlight my face. Although I didn't really need to highlight necessarily because the NARS Orgasm Blush had highlight in it. But I wanted a little bit of extra highlight because I was going out with Bae. We was going out to the movies and dinners. So I had to make sure that I went the extra mile or whatever. Moving on to lips, you guys know the drill. If you've seen my last video, you already know exactly what I'm using. I just took a brown lip liner from NYX, and then I went in with Dose K by Kylie lip liner, and then Dose K liquid lipstick as well. So yeah, that is pretty much all I did. And if you guys know of a good lip liner to where I don't need to use 2 different lip liners to make one, comment down below and let me know something that I can check out, because sometimes I get real tired of doing this. But yeah, that completes the makeup portion of this video. So let's go ahead and switch over to my outfit for the night. All right, guys, so this was my outfit for the night. Super cute. Everything is from Boohoo, in case you guys were wondering. But yeah, this is my outfit. Shoes.